I was reading a story in Sports Illustrated this morning. They said the pressure is really high for Dak Prescott to get over the hump in his career. Really? I mean, this Cowboy team is going to be much more Dak dependent. Zeke is gone. Amari Cooper is gone. Dalton Schultz is gone. His great offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore, is gone. Tyron Smith is almost gone. He gives you about half a season, the great all-time left tackle. This is a very Dak-dependent team. And that's okay. Dak, pre-big contract, when he had more help, won 62.5% of his games and got a playoff win. Take away the franchise year, the year he was hurt. Post big money, little less help, he's won actually 67% of his games and another playoff win. The NFC, I would argue, is a bit weaker. That's where the wins came from. But Dak has always been a little bit more athletic Kirk Cousins. He's Kirk Cousins with a star on his helmet. Is there huge pressure for Kirk Cousins to get over the hump this year? Or do we sort of know what Kirk Cousins is? We know what Kirk Cousins is. And we know what Dak is. In fact, if you look at Dak through his 7 years and Kirk through his 11, they're identical quarterbacks. Their passer ratings are both 97.8. Their completion percentages, 66%. Touchdown to interception ratio, 2.5 to 1. Kirk averages, 4 more yards passing a game, 261 to 257. One has a star on their helmet. I feel the exact same way with both. I trust them. They're adults. They're franchise quarterbacks. They win a lot of games. On any Sunday, they're A-, but mostly log in at about B++. And they're both fourth-round picks with kind of low ceilings who are not going to ever outduel regularly star quarterbacks in this league. This league, though not as much as the NBA, is largely defined by the end of the year. You can keep your job if you just get into the playoffs. NBA, you win titles or you're not MJ. But if you go, since Dak entered the league, to the most January and February playoff wins, Dak is tied for 11th. And that's about where I put him, 11th. Brady's got 13, Mahomes 11, Burrow 5, Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, Jimmy Garoppolo got 4, Breeze and Matt Ryan 3. And then Dak shows up sort of coupled in with a lot of guys at 2, guys like Brock Purdy and Blake Bortles and Ryan Tannehill. 11th most January, February wins since he broke into the league. Haven't I always argued Dak is about the 11th or 12th or 13th best quarterback? I mean, maybe Dak gets over the hump this year and pops. And maybe Kirk Cousins does too. The upside to being the quarterback for a team with a star on the helmet is Dak has made a bloody fortune in endorsements. Good for him. He's more talked about, but he's also more criticized, and expectations are higher. Somebody told me years ago, happiness is directly connected to expectations. Don't expect Dak with less help. No Zeke, no Dalton Schultz, no Kellen Moore. Tyron Smith is fading. Tony Pollard off a big injury. A twisted ankle to CeeDee Lamb. It's a below-average receiving core. It's ridiculous to expect Dak to get over the hump or pop in year 8, as it would be for Kirk Cousins in year 12. I saw this story. Michael Vick, who comes on this show a couple times a year or more than that, was saying he had Andy Reid briefly in his career, and he does believe that Andy may go down as the greatest football coach of all time. So the truth is, so much of a coach's greatness legacy depends on getting a great player. The 4 or 5 best coaches in the history of the NBA, the legends are Red Auerbach. He had the amazing Bill Russell. Phil Jackson, Kobe and Shaq, and Michael. Pat Riley, multiple Lakers. Greg Popovich, and now Steve Kerr. Those are 5 of the all-time legends in coaching. they all had great stars. As those players, those stars got older, they won less. It's the same in the NFL. Joe Gibbs is about the only great coach, legend ever, who didn't have a legendary quarterback, though he had good ones. But Vince Lombardi and Chuck Noll and Bill Walsh and Belichick and Tom Landry and Don Shula all had legends. But I do think Andy Reid is unique. Most of those legends, the Landrys, the Belichicks, Lombardi, Walsh, Shula, they got their legend, Popovich, Steve Kerr, Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach. They got their legend in their 40s or 50s. Andy Reid had to coach until his 19th year to get his legend. And since Andy has had Patrick Mahomes as a quarterback, he's not only been good, he's smashed all the records. His playoff record with Mahomes is 11-3, number one ever for a head coach, and his regular season record is 64-16, number one ever winning percentage for a head coach. And I think Andy Reid, had he gotten Mahomes 4 to 5 years earlier, when he retires, would have an argument for the best coach ever. And if he keeps coaching, and I wonder about his health, but if you told me he coached 6 more years, I think the Belichick-Andy Reid debate is on. Belichick's head coaching career is tied to one player. Bill is 9 games under 500 without Tom Brady. Andy Reid without Mahomes is 183-122 with a Super Bowl appearance and 4 straight NFC Championship appearances. But Andy had to wait until year 19. Belichick got Brady in year 6, and by year 7, they were off and rolling. If you look, playoff record, regular season record, when Belichick and Brady have both had their guy, Andy wins both. They faced each other 8-9 times. It's right down the middle. And that's why I root for Andy Reid to keep coaching, is that most of your legends, NBA and NFL, got their legend before year 19. I think Andy Reid's good for football. I think he's fun and creative and clever and joyful. His coaching tree smashes Belichick. He's the great mentor. Coach after assistant after coordinator, win, more win, and keep winning. Belichick's coaching tree, at least in the NFL ranks, a dud. Saban's been great in college. But, Bill won a lot of titles. He didn't make football more fun or more clever or creative, and I think Andy Reid does. I think you're going to stack it up, but sometimes, the old saying is if you just put your head down, you work hard, eventually things will work out. That's mostly true. But Andy uniquely had to wait longer for his legend. But once he got him, he won before him, and he's winning at a pace now greater than anybody. There's no team on Sunday over the last 5 years that is more fun to watch as a consumer than Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs. Even in the biggest spots, the Super Bowl. They're fun, they're creative, they're different, they keep you guessing. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.